Good evening, everyone. Welcome back once again to Vicious Rants, and of course I am your host, your YouTuber, signing off and imitator, never duplicated superstar Team Vicious Son. We're going to go over Raw this week was in Portland, Oregon. Now, before we do, just like we always do, we do that same old two-step. We're going to switch gears and talk about last week via the SmackDown Rewind and the big highlights from last week's SmackDown. Well, it started out with Imperium doing a trios match. Imperium versus the Brawling Brutes, Sheamus, Ridge, and Butch. And, man, this was fucking awesome. There was a lot of great European talent right there in the ring at that point in time. That's all I'm going to leave that at. And just, wow. Great. And there was also an epic stare down between Gunther and Sheamus, and my first thought was, we need these motherfuckers at the next pay-per-view, and it's gonna be in my beloved hometown of Philadelphia. Fucking Philly is gonna eat that shit up. Ain't no fucking doubt on that. Now, Raquel Rodriguez and Aliyah had a tag match against Toxic Attraction, Gigi Dolan, and JC Jane, and yeah, leave that at that. Aliyah and Raquel got the win. They got a match coming up on Raw. We'll get into that as we go over the show. There was a fatal five-way #1 contenders match for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Xia Li, Sonya Deville, Natalya, Ronda Rousey, and Lacey Evans. Fast forwards to the ending. Ronda got the win, so it's going to be Ronda versus Liv at Extreme Rules. And honestly, my personal opinion, just me personally thinking out loud, because why not? It's my show. I can put out my personal view on it. I think more than likely Philly is going to shit all over Ronda. Just because I'm trying to think the right way to say this. Her mannerisms and the way she talks and carries herself, it's just like she's pretending to be a tough guy wrestler as opposed to just being a tough guy wrestler. Because, don't get me wrong, her credentials, out there. Legit badass. However, some people are legit badasses but cannot carry themselves as badasses, whereas some people are badasses and can carry themselves as badasses. And just, I don't know, it's just me, but the way Ronda always keeps coming off on TV, it's like you're pretending to try and be a badass when you're not, and it's just, yeah. There was also an 8-man tag match, Hit Row and the Street Profits going against Maximum Male Models and Los Lotharios. Hit Row and the Profits got the win, not much of a shocker there. Fast forward to main event of SmackDown, it was Drew McIntyre versus Solo Sikoa. Solo making his SmackDown main roster debut match. And decent match, I thought it was good. Came to an end in a DQ when Karrion Kross came out of nowhere. Choked out Drew. Show ended with him choking Drew out and Scarlett laughing maniacally all crazy like. So yeah, there's that. So that was it for that. So now with that said, let's get into this week's show. Raw, it starts out with Seth Elizabeth Rollins, because his middle name is not frickin', it's Elizabeth. And no, that is not any, no, that is no relation to the Queen whatsoever. Either way, Seth comes out, talks about on how he's done with Riddle. He beat his ass at Clash at the Castle. He stomped his head in not once but twice. And then Riddle again insists on a rematch, and he says no. Then Riddle comes out. That Riddle comes out, and before he can even go and try and say something, Seth shuts him down, and then them two go at it, blah, 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 brawl. And then Seth gets out of Dodge. After Seth gets the hell out of Dodge, Judgment Day then comes down, and they extend an invitation for Riddle to join, which he then turns down. Then him and Balor wind up brawling, then they go to commercial, we come back, it's official, first match of the night. Matt Riddle versus Seth, or not, yeah, Seth. Matt Riddle versus Finn Balor, and yeah, Balor, he was leading early on, with Riddle starting to pick up the pace near the end of the match. It was a good opener. I thought it was a good opening match. Came to an end when Seth came down to distract Riddle when he was looking to end it. Next thing you know, Balor wound up knocking him down, hit him with the coup de grace. 1, 2, 3, that was it. Afterwards, Seth then came in, did a stomp to him, and yeah. So, again, way it looks, way the story's playing out, rematch at the pay-per-view. Not much of a shocker. Next up, women's tag action. Io Sky and Dakota, going against Aliyah and Raquel Rodriguez, like I mentioned a few minutes ago, their match. Now, the faces, they were leading into the break. Post-break, Aliyah wound up being the punching bag for a bit. Blip. Damn it! Tried to go without a botch, but fucked that up. That's the beautiful thing about this show, folks. We don't hide our screw-ups. Either way, Aliyah was the punching bag post-break. Raquel wound up eventually getting a hot tag in. Gave Aliyah a chance to catch her breath, get her bearings. Came in, cleaned up house, then brought Aliyah back into the ring. Aliyah started doing good, picking up work on her own. Match came to an end though when Io wound up taking out Raquel on the outside, and Dakota did the I think I saw somebody on the Twitter wound up referring to it as the Kai, like her last name, chiropractor, where it basically looked like a modified backstabber, where instead of the knees are in the back, it's up all around near like the shoulders and the neck area, like around up there, and it's just like, ooh, that's nasty. But yeah, Kai wound up doing that to Aliyah, 1, 2, 3, so you're winners and new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Io Sky and Dakota Kai. And I know some people are going to say, oh, well, what was the point of doing it on Monday, doing it last week, if you're just going to switch the titles this week, blah, 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 blah. You know, send them home happy. That's a obvious idea. Second, give a rematch. You know? And yeah, heaven forbid, you have to build to a rematch on TV. Not just the pay-per-views, right? Next up, we got Chad Gable going against Johnny Gargano, with Johnny making his big triumphant return and his first match on Raw ever. And oh fuck him, man, wow. Now listen, I will admit I slept on the local promotion here when Johnny Gargano was working here in Erie. And man, I kicked myself in the ass so much for that, because I had so many fucking opportunities to see him and I did not. If you get a chance to go to a fucking WWE show and see Johnny, fucking do it, man. Do it. But Gable and Johnny, them two, man, they just click like fucking... Them two just meshed together like fucking peanut butter and chocolate. There was no fucking doubt on that. Solid, great action. Johnny was showing up and leading right up into the commercial break. Post-break, Gable, he was leading for the most part. And for the break, up for a short... Post-break, I should say, up for a short bit. Just... Man, this was hands down match of the fucking night. I'm trying to think of the right words to put this into perspective, but I just can't, and it's just like, I'm at a loss. which, given some people that know me, saying I'm at a loss for words is a bit of a shock. But yeah, hell of a match. A great fucking match. I loved it. Afterwards, Christ, I'm fucking so excited I'm skipping the ending. The finish. Johnny got the win doing the Gargano spike onto Gable. Afterwards, Otis came in, popped him with 2 or 3 super kicks, and then got the hell out of Dodge, rolled out. Was like, hey, that's it. I'm out. Later. Jubies. And then next thing you know, Austin Theory wound up attacking him from behind. And then Theory cut a promo talking about on how he's the next big thing, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. Kevin Owens came out, said something to him, saying, you know what, seen guys like you a dime a dozen, look like you, talk like you, act like you, but you know what, I've seen guys like you come and go, dozens of guys like you come and go since I've been in WWE, whereas guys like me and Johnny, we have been here and we have been staying here, and we're just, and you know what? Fucking sick of this shit. And then, just basically one of those. Kevin Owens cutting a promo, basically being like the friend that you don't want, that tells you what you need to hear instead of what you want to hear. And then them two brawled, and then they announced a match for next week with Kevin Owens versus Austin Theory. Next up, we got Bianca Belair doing an open challenge for her Raw Women's title, and the opponent was, drumroll please, drumroll please. Seriously, Wade, come on now. You've been my cameraman for a couple years, all these years, and you still can't give me a fucking drumroll? Fucking asshole. Anyways, Bianca Belair wound up doing an open challenge, and Sonya Deville answered. Solid match, man. It was solid action by both of the gals, back and forth. I dug the shit out of it. You know, it was solid back and forth right up into the break. Sonya wound up leading for the most part post break. It was a good little short-lived match. It came to an end when Bianca actually countered a choke into making a KOD, and then boom. Afterwards, Bayley then came out. It wound up cutting a promo on Bianca saying, you know, you needed to do this to get a win to make yourself feel good because I was the first person to pin you in over a year, and I've been out and I haven't had a match in a year, so what's that tell you? All this at Bayley doing her taunting kind of shit. And then when she gets up to the ring and Bianca's just like, come on, you got an issue, just come on in. Io and Kai are right behind her, and she's like, oh. Then out comes Bliss and Asuka. And then even things up, they take out Sky and Dakota. Next thing you know, they get behind Bayley, and Bianca's just like, hi. And then Bayley's just like, alright, you know what, that's it, I'm out, later. Omos wound up having a quick squash match against local jobbers. The big highlight on that though was, and I kid you not, it did not just happen to me, it happened to everyone. As this match happened, the screen cut out and it was black for like a good 30 seconds, and then they put up a technical difficulties are beyond our control, please stand by kind of message, and it was just like, what the fuck? The hell? That was the big highlight of that match. I kid you not, that was it. Omos came out and broke the screen. Omos came out and broke the cable, broke the television feed. That was it, plain and simple. So now we come to main event of the night. Edge going against Dominik Mysterio. And beforehand they showed a backstage interview with Dominik talking about on how he felt like he was just being viewed as Ray's son, not having a chance to stand up for himself. It's so sad living behind your father's shadow. Suck it the fuck up, Cupcake. For Christ's sake, you came in working with your dad right at the start. You were fucking tag teaming with him, winning a championship with him. What the fuck did you expect? And I understand we're talking about wrestling and the land of make-believe, but I'm just saying, if you're going to compare them, just like, dude, no. Now I get you can make the argument of, well, when he was with him, he was good, but then as it went on, it built up. But yeah, dude, that's when you learn to suck it the fuck up. Christ almighty, until I grew up constantly being known as, you know, not having my own name, but no, being known as, yeah, I know you. Know your dad. You're his boy, right? Yeah, I got that kind of shit all my fucking life. Not, who are you? But, hey, yeah, I know your old man. That kind of shit. Yeah, fuck it. Either way, as far as this match went, man, Edge just laid out a straight up ass whooping, and they showed backstage spots earlier in the show. Ray pleading to Edge, please don't do this. He's just confused. He doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know what he's saying. This, that, and the other. Please. And Edge just looking at him. He needs this. He needs to get some slap sense in. He needs to get some sense slapped into him. And if you're not going to do it, I'm going to do it. And Edge went out there and gave him a good old-fashioned coming to Jesus meeting. And for those unfamiliar with a coming to Jesus meeting, it's when you, trust me, I've had plenty of those, being a degenerate little fuck up as a kid. It's when you wind up getting an ass whooping so bad you're praying for Jesus to come and make it stop. That's a coming to Jesus meeting. But, yeah. Edge was giving Dom a coming to Jesus meeting until eventually Dom wound up tripping him, then started working on his knee. It was the tweaked knee that they wound up softening up the week prior. Dom, he tried to build some momentum, fighting back, but for the most part it was mostly Edge leading the dance on this one. And yeah. Match came to an end though with a DQ when, as Dom was tied up onto the ropes like this, and then Edge sizing him up, boom. Getting ready to go for the spear, then next thing you know, right, whoa, Edge, come on, man, don't do this, please don't. And then as Ray is doing that, pleading with Edge, next thing you know, Priest and Balor come out, they attack, while Rhea unhooks Dominik from the ropes, and yeah. Then the assault ensues, Ray's taken out of the equation, and then it's a 3-on-1 assault on Edge, and the show ends with all three guys beating the shit out of Edge and then doing a coup de grace onto Edge's leg with the chair on there, saying, oh my god, they potentially broke his leg, and they're all just standing over Edge's corpse, like, over Edge's withered out husk laying there, just beaten and battered, like, yeah, we won, we beat you, yeah, this, that, and the other. So technically Edge won via DQ, but look who came out standing at the end. So, either way, that is it for this week's show, folks. So, please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, go back watch some of the episodes when you can. Look for me on the Twitter at TimVicious. Thank you to my producer, to my executive producer, Ali Ray-Ben, who did provide the music for this week's show. Make sure y'all check him out. His music's out there on Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube, all that good shit. Details are down below. Also, thank you to contributor of the show, LFC Lingerie Fighting Championship. They're a little bit of wrestling, a little bit of MMA, and a whole lot of attractive women. We're in a little bit of nothing. Also, folks, check out whatamaneuver.net for some vicious rants apparel. Help support the show. Got the holidays coming up. Perfect gifts for people you love and people you hate. Somebody you don't like, fuck it. Give them a Vicious Ranch shirt because you don't like me. Also, folks, do not forget to follow these cool ass cats right on the Twitter. Kenny Giller, DSB_IV, Diabolica RA, Sergeant Curry Pants and Dubs in your face. And folks, like I always tell y'all, you love me great, you hate me.
Just isn't for me. You said ain't
fuck
nobody. Just observation, typical.